Hi friends from around the world. We did some exercise in the last session. Exercises for those who had not identified their goals so far and needed to determine with honesty where they are at that moment. But you know, there are others who already have identified your dreams. You know what is your future about, what is your next self, what is this position where I want you to get in. And you made also the determination where you are. So you saw the gap and you are on your way forward. So that is one thing. On your way forward, there is also a evaluation on a period, on a certain period. If you are at the end of the year or beginning of the year, that would be a moment, but any moment within the year is good in order to make an evaluation on what went wrong, what went right, what is the conclusion you should move on with in the near future for the next period and so on. So I want to propose you those who are already on their way of your next self, of discovering of your next self, of your potential, to propose a different exercise than the one who wanted to define their goal, right? So this is the exercise number 2 for those who are on their way. Now, what went wrong in the past period, whatever period you have chosen? It doesn't mean anything. You may have chosen half a year, 2 years, or whatever it is. That period, what went wrong? Normally, this sticks in your head. What went wrong is what the brain is looking for, what the brain is remembering, and what the brain normally links with what you have heard from other people you have consulted with, your interaction with. You know, I told you so. That is what you heard, and that what resonates with you once it actually appears at a certain moment in your life. So the first thing is, that is the same thing I think I said in the last session: get addict to problems. Problems is good. Problems you will always encounter in your life. That is part of your life. And these problems will make you better. It make you resourceful. It make you to look for solutions. It make you to navigate the problems you may encounter in the future. It may get you the solutions you had already on your mind when the problem encounters you again. So it is a good thing. The problems and the surmounting of problems gives you clues and how to navigate your life. So I've told to people who said I would not miss anything, any setback in my life I had. And guess what? Anybody has setbacks, even the millionaires, the billionaires, whatever. They have blown up their account or their model, their business model, 1, 2, 3 times, I don't know how many. Even Apple, the Steve Jobs, you know the story. So they blow up, they get the problems and they get over it and they get what? Better. They get better. And that's what you have to, you know, the small children. What happens to the small children? They want to walk, the toddler. It wants to walk. And then it fails. And, well, again. And it fails again. And so it repeats all over until what? Yes, it walks. So don't get discouraged if you find things in your way which went wrong. That's a good thing. Get addicted to it, get over it, and that's it. It's a tuition for your life. It's a lesson you have learned, and you will not repeat again, hopefully. You will not repeat again because you have learned your lesson, right? So what went wrong? That, please write down. There's an exercise session here. Please write down what went wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what went right? This normally does not stick in your brain, what went right. There are things which were right, although you do not remember them at this moment. What went right? Well, you're already here with me in that course, in that lesson, and that process where you're in. So what went right? And there are all things that went right. It may not stick with you at this moment, but if you remember a bit, it went right. So you made a right decision in this or in that, or you went to the right course, or you surrounded with the right people and they inspired you to this and that, and it moved you forward. Whatever it is, there are stories that went right and that should stick with you, and I want you to write them down. Please write them down. Because this is where you discover it. If you write it down, the brain works and the brain is discovering it and it sticks with the brain, and then you have it. If you just think it for a moment, it's gone. And no, write it down. Write it down. Okay, what held you back? You were making some decisions at this moment or at that moment in time, and then the storyline which you are repeating yourself all the time, bing, 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 that creeps in again, and then what? Guess what? It holds you back, right? It holds you back. If it says that it is not the time for you to do this now, please hold it back for once you get 60, or once you have the money, or once the children are out, or once the university is being gone, or once you paid out the bill of whatever it is. So that story may hold you back, may have influenced a decision which, in hindsight, you would say, well, it could have been differently, that my decision could have been differently, so it could have been even better. So what did hold you back? And there are habits, there are storylines, there are thought patterns which have you acquired over time, and which come to your brain every time, every now and then, and it determines what is your decision. So it held you back, and these stories often, they held you back. They said, don't do this, don't do that, that is not the time, that is, we'll add it for the future, I have no money. This went wrong, and I don't want this wrong again, or they will laugh at me, or it will embarrass me, or my friends will talk about me. These stories, they held you back. And if you recognize what held you back, write down the story, this habit, this thought pattern, this storyline I'm telling myself all the time, it held me back. I could have progressed more than the storyline permit me to do. So this is the third thing, right? We have already 3 things to write down. And now, what are the success stories? So another storyline, the holding back storyline, we want to replace it with another storyline. And we may grab what went right in the past, and you have written it down, what went right. So this gives you to the storyline which went right, and then you have a new story. You have a new story to tell you. Or you get back to why held this story you back, and you think, well, this story holding me back, that doesn't serve me for my future self, for my progress, for what I want to be in the future, for the next place, for the higher purpose I have, for the impact I want to have on the people. So then you take another storyline. So a storyline, you think, well, this is a storyline which doesn't serve me. No, I move on. I forget about that story. And this is nothing which I want to hear anymore. So I get a new story, and you get a new story. You put a new story into life, into your belief system, into your brain, into your habits, into your whatever is the universe, into your universe. And then you get this story life. And once you at the decision point, I do this or I do that, then the new story will help you to make the decision, the positive decision, which brings you a step closer to where you want to go. Does that make sense with you? Does that resonate with you? You have written down 4 things, right? Okay, that's good. You made a new progress, and we will come back to these 4 things. Well, these 4 things already serve you for the next step, for the next period of time where you want to go and evaluate again.